Hey everyone, and welcome back to Esther S T. I hope that you're doing very well. In today's video, I want to talk about how you can protect your time and your focus. And I believe that in the seasons that we are in, particularly because we are in the new year, it's really important that we are intentional about our time and where we are focusing on certain aspects of our lives. Time is such a precious gift. Although we don't own time, we do have to be really intentional about how we utilize it. And it's so important that as we've started this year, we need to ensure that our time is focused on things that are relevant. It can be tempting to look at the past, whether it be the past years of those moments where life was much more easier. It felt more calmer, more relaxed. And now as the days are going by, it just feels like time is just running out. It feels like there's no time left. But I really want to encourage you in this season to remind yourself that time is so important that it has to be utilized well. And when it is utilized well, you will see how far you will go. Now, moving on to focus. Your focus also gives attention to time. Your focus and your time work together. Now, I'm really intentional this year about giving myself to things that add value. Purposeful friendships, purposeful relationships, purposeful business deals. It is so important. And again, I've realized, and I'm coming to realize even more, that what I focus on, I magnify. Anything that becomes bigger than my time, anything that becomes bigger than my peace is a problem. And I don't want that to be the same for you. We have to be intentional about how we focus right now in the season that we are in. You might be in a season right now where you're pivoting, where you're transitioning, and it may feel painful. Or you may be in a season of healing and you're wondering, when will my time come? How come I'm seeing other people excelling and it feels like I'm the only one doing the same thing over and over again? That time that you are giving to worrying about what could have happened, you could focus on something more meaningful. You can serve a friend. You can call a family member. You can pray for someone in the time that you are waiting. And even in the waiting season, as I mentioned in some of my videos, the waiting season is not a burdensome season. It should not be a burden. It should be a blessing and an opportunity to fulfill purpose. Your time is so precious, ladies and gents. And it is really important to make sure that you are using your time wisely, even to what you think about, what you ponder on, what you pray about, and what you desire. Even at work, in your business, wherever you go, how are you using time to your advantage? What are you focusing on that is causing you to either grow or to become timid or limited? How are you being intentional about the time you have? Whether that means to limit your time of social media, whether that means to take some time out of your busy schedule and just be in a solitude moment, that mindset of peace, that mindset of I need to be alone to reflect on my thoughts. It is so important that we remember this. We don't want to start a new year and our time is being distracted. Being intentional about a new year starts with focus. What are you looking to focus on? Now, I may not know what your goals are. Your goals may be monthly, your goals may be weekly, your goals may be daily. But how are you using every day to meet those goals? When it comes to YouTube, for example, I have to be intentional about coming on the camera. I have to be intentional about serving my community and giving back because I know how important it is for those who I know and those who I am yet to know. Because we all need support from time to time. We all need that reminder to keep our focus in check. Now, when you think about where you are right now and the things that you've desired, how did that come about? Because you were focused. If you think about an exam, you're not going to revise the day before the actual exam, are you? No, you're going to take your time to plan ahead of time to ensure that you get the best mark that is suited to you. The same with time. Although we don't own time, we have to be really intentional about how we're using it. And that starts from our thoughts, because everything starts with the mind. And I can't emphasize enough that what you think about is what you will eventually speak out. And when you speak it out, there are some words that you can never take back. And it's so important to be able to work on yourself, even with the time that you have. Work on those weaknesses, build upon those strengths. Be intentional. I love that word, intentionality is so important. What are you going to do with good intentions, with a good motive, with a good heart? How are you going to use your time? Rather than worrying about the problem, why not pray? Why worry about what somebody else is doing when you can speak to them and find out how they're doing, or how are they making it, or what can I do to learn from them? Don't be afraid to ask questions. When I go to networking events, I am so confident that any question I need help on, I will ask. I'm there to learn. I'm there to grow. And I remember a few years ago, I was quite quiet. I didn't want to ask questions. I was more of a spectator and observer. But when I needed support, when I needed an answer, I asked for help. Why? Because my time is being used. And time is so important. Any time you leave the house, you have to realize that you will never get that time back again. Whether it be to meet someone, to go out with somebody, to make time for someone in their home, all these things occur with time. And the time that you give to people is the time that you are able to receive back. When you give your time wisely, people are more likely to serve you and help you. And that is really important. You have to remember that in this life, the way you want to be treated, you have to also treat people the way they want to be treated too. It's so essential for your mental and emotional well-being. And I want to encourage you again that your focus is so vital. Where you're looking to go this year, as I said before, you know your goals. Your focus is essential. If you get distracted by anything or anyone, ask yourself, is it really worth it? Am I really going to waste my time pondering on something that was in the past? Am I not going to be free so that I can heal and move on to receive what is for me, so that everything will work according to the right timing? And this is why I love Ecclesiastes 3, which talks about there's a time and season for everything. A time to work and a time to rest. A time to speak and a time to be quiet. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cry and a time to be happy. Everything is about time. And this is why we serve such a good God that is full of time. He owns time. We don't. And that's why it's so important that the time that we have right now, we're using it properly. When it comes to the time that you have to focus on someone, maybe they've hurt you or you're offended, why pour out your energy on that? Why not ask God to touch your heart? Show me the areas, Lord, in my life that I need help with. Let me not waste my time pondering on what happened before. And this is what the enemy does. He wants you to focus on what isn't working, and that's distraction. Distraction is a big barrier to success. And again, when it comes to time, you have to also be mindful that time works according to the way it wants to work. We can't force time to be what we want it to be, but we can make sure that we maximize the time that we have. Maximize every opportunity that you have right now to make sure that your time and your focus is used well. When you woke up this morning, what was on your mind? Was it worry? Was it fear? And these things are normal. They are normal emotions, please. But we have to make sure that this year we are being intentional about not worrying about things that we cannot control. Because indeed, there are some things that we cannot control, and that's okay. We have to learn how to surrender and let go and let God, and let Him be in the center of our time and our decisions. That every day when God gives us life, we're using it wisely to say thank you, Father, for the gift of life, and not worrying about what is yet to come. Even though, yes, we've got 24 hours in a day, you have to make sure that you are maximizing those hours, not worrying about what you don't have or what you do have or what more you desire, because everything is about timing. Where you are right now, someone is praying to be where you are, even though you may want to be elsewhere. Someone wants even one thing of what you have. And that's something that I personally will never take for granted ever. Because I've realized that I might be looking at other people thinking, oh, but God, when is this going to happen for me? Someone is saying, Father, I see what you've done in Esther's life. I see what you've done in Sally's life. I want you to do it for me as well. People are so blessed by you. And sometimes in life, people choose you because you are capable of handling your time well. If you are a time waster, people do not want to be around you. If you're always distracted, always focusing on things that didn't work well, whether it be your past situation or you're struggling with something that you can't share, it's difficult for you to move on. And time will be right in front of you, but you're not embracing it. You're not letting it be. You're not letting it do what it needs to do. There are times where I can focus on a project and I don't physically want to look at the clock, because if I keep looking at the clock, it might slow me down. But when I start typing away, time goes so quick. And I say, wow, I've really had a productive day. And I love those moments, those candid moments where you don't always need to look at the time. But then there are moments where, of course, we know if you're going to work, you need to make sure you know the time of the train. That is different, because that's why you need to be intentional about waking up early to get to the train station on time. But when you have time on your hands, let's say you've got a day off or you're not working in the business, what are you doing with that time? Are you focusing on building yourself? Are you focusing on building your family? Are you enjoying the present moment? Or are you worrying about what is going to happen tomorrow when we are still in today? I can't emphasize enough on being in the present moment. And if there's anything I want to encourage you with, is learn how to be in the present moment. Don't ever look back and think you're not where you are, or times are difficult, I'm just going to stay where I am. No, time is moving, therefore you need to move. God is in charge of time. He is in charge of your life. He knows where you need to be. But it's the focus that you need to ensure that you are intentional about investing in. Focus, not being distracted, being intentional about how you consume information, even on social media. Who are you following? Who are you watching? Who are you being inspired by? Are you being triggered? There's so much energy focused on that. And what result is it going to produce? Nothing. Being underproductive is not wise. Wasting time is not wise. Thinking that you've got tomorrow is not wise. Anything you need to do it now and do it well, with good intentions. Each day is a blessing, and you never want to take that for granted. So every day when you wake up, make sure that you're using your time wisely. And I really hope that this brief video encourages you throughout this year to please be intentional about your time and your focus, because where the mind goes, the man follows, or the woman follows. Thank you so much for watching this video. If there are any other topics that you would like me to discuss, as always, leave them down in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as well. Many thanks, and look forward to seeing you in the upcoming video. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.